Welcome everyone and welcome to All In, All United.
Remember the comment he made?
I got from varsity.
Run Ryan.
Ryan.
And here's the thing, you have players out there.
I think the fellas will take it more serious.
No way. What grade?
That one had to go.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, right now, Manchester United are top.
Yes, my peoples. Apologies for the late start. I am currently an hour behind, which is 8 o'clock in Toronto, but I totally forget you guys obviously are an hour ahead. So my apologies, and let's get this show on the road. All in, all united. I'm back. And as always, we had a football game today. It was Spurs versus Manchester United. And obviously in the past, that has been our somewhat of a bogey team. I think the last time we registered a win versus Spurs was probably 3 or 4 or even 5 seasons ago, right? But I'm not here by myself to discuss it. I'm joined with Chef and JP, and then somebody else who has their name as This Team Shake My Head. But fellas, how y'all doing so far?
We didn't lose.
Another day of being a Manchester United fan.
Yeah, we didn't lose. We didn't lose, but I'm not very happy with the result. That's where I'll leave it for now.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I myself thought that there were some moments in this game where we could have taken the lead, and those moments fell to one Benjamin Sesko, who I hope he's all right, because he did go off and leave us to play with 10 men. But it is what it is, right? So, welcome to the studio, Simeon. How you doing?
I good.
Perfect. That is quote unquote good to hear, right? But yeah, another weekend, another 2-2 draw, right? Now, let's get straight into it. I saw the starting lineup, and I myself, just like Reem, thought it was a bit of a coward move from Ruben Amorim, because at the end of the day, we're only playing one game a week, and by now this team should know how to adapt to your system. And lo and behold, I don't think we have learned anything even from the Nottingham Forest game, right? But let me go around the table. I'll start with you, Chef. What did you think of the starting lineup today? No Benjamin Sesko, but Cunha was up top, and then also Ahmad and Mbeumo were in the 10 today.
Well, ideally, I would like Sesko to. You only an echo when I talk, eh?
No.
You're not bad at one. Anyhow, so ideally, I'm gonna we buy a center forward. So what we buying for? If not to play, but that's it. All right, welcome. I like the idea that Ahmad was not playing quote unquote as a defender. Yeah, but I said the mother sound across slowly. Let me see how it goes. And see how it goes.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. Let me before I leave you, Chef. Were you did you prefer Ahmad in the number 10 today?
The thing is, I like Ahmad as an attacker, but I also see what he and Mbeumo has been building on the right side. So to go away from something that has been working for, and if we be for no good reason, didn't make sense to me.
Fair enough. JP, Sesko on the bench, Cunha, a natural number 10 playing in the striker role, and then Ahmad and Buemo. What I want you to also talk about is I think the striking position at Manchester United is almost like a graveyard where you're starving for service. Unless you're the type of player that is going to drop deep for the football, then it's no point of you waiting up top to receive service. But that's you can incorporate that into your thoughts of the starting 11 today.
So my thoughts on the starting 11 today is that I feel like we get the tactics mixed up for the games. Because for Forest, I feel like we needed something more defensive for their wingers. So starting Masvari today in Ahmad position, to me, took away from the attack in a sense. And I feel like interfering with the chemistry of Ahmad and Mbumo, Cunha in the 10, and to me, it made us look disjointed for long periods today. Um, I have no issue with Seshko being on the bench because I feel like Seshko is a new player to the Premier League and he should be allowed time to adapt to the league. My problem is when you drop Seshko and you play Cunha as the striker. And you know my problem is with that. Cunha and Zirkzee were compared to each other when it was convenient to Amorim. He conveniently said that he can't really play Zirkzee because he plays in Cunha position. He's not really a striker. But then you have no problem playing Cunha as a striker. So if you're going for something different where you want to do something left of the traditional striker and go to the false nine kind of striker, then Zirkzee is the perfect player for that position, right? But you're not using him at all. So honestly, I believe Amorim hates Zirkzee. He has something against this man because I'm not seeing why he not a chance, why he not get an opportunity. And so my issue today, I don't have a problem with the defensive three that he picked. Because on any day it could be that and I don't have a problem with that. But today wasn't the day to go more defensive with Masvan. Because this Spurs team, when you look at their lineup today, Kolomoani is trash. Richarlison don't do anything other than get vexed with people. Kudus wasn't there today. Brennan Johnson is a hit and miss with him. So when you look at their attack today, why did Amorim think, and he knew this would have been the players available, why did he think, well, today's the day I'm going to play Masvari as on the right side? I was happy that I was in the team. Don't get me wrong, I was happy for that. But I felt like there was no reason to interfere with the front three. And we will talk about the goals and things later, but the reality of the game, how it played out is because we had quality players on the team, we had quality moments in the match. But as a whole, I still think there are a lot of questions that need to be answered. And it have people paint me as negative and seeing the bright side and what happened with the team and whatever. But that's not how I watch football. I watch football holistically. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah. And I mean, if there's anybody who sees the bright side in today's game, by all means, feel free to leave a comment. Or that could be Simeon. Simeon could be the guy who sees the bright side of this specific starting lineup. Maybe you're the guy, Simeon. Tell us what you thought about the starting lineup today.
No, I mean, I think, Chef, JP covered, accurately. I think the Xerxes thing is really telling. I think, the bright side of today's game was you realize, you kind of realized after all the years of having non-football people running the club, and you finally get football people running the club, you realize we still don't know what we're doing. You know, you look at between Amarim and this new Glazer people. You look at what's going on with the team sheets and the people we're bringing in, and it's like, who are we buying players for? Because Amarim don't like these players. Most of these players, I don't like these players. You know, even the players he bring in. So we get Sesko, who you know I expect much from, but you know, did we just buy him because he was there? I mean, I know we don't. I know we all agree Rasmus was trash last year. Rasmus ain't what we need a starting striker. But if he wants somebody to run on the ball and do all the hard work up front, you can bring Rasmus on in the last 15, 20 minutes for that. But you went and you get Sesko, who I don't know if people say give him time. But the way Sesko, I mean, the last time I saw Sesko was in the Euros. Was it a year or two ago? When was Euros? And I wasn't impressed.
2 years.
And I don't see anything different from Sesko from since then. And the kind of skills he might have could play, but to play in this league, the kind of skills, the kind of speed of thought you need with his big, the man tall. When you're tall, there's certain things you could do and you can't do. Some players could do it, but from what I see from Sesko, I'm not, and the way we play, I'm not inclined to believe that he's what we need. And you hear Amarim talking about pressing. I'm like, if you want to press, Sesko's not the man. And I hear JP talk about the false nine thing. I'm like, yeah, JP, you're right. I mean, that is what Amarim literally just said. That that was this. How you gonna leave Xerxes on the bench? If that is what you intend to play today. So I just wonder. I know we had some turnover in the football office, last year. But right now, I don't think this team just look like a mess because you see other teams and the player profile they have. You see a purpose. I see a coach just juggling players right now. I don't know what he doing. I don't know if what anybody doing. I'm not rambling, but I really don't know where this team is going because we have young players we bring in and we instead of send them out, and we have old players who we talk was done with the team playing every game. So I just watch this team and I just, I can't even hope for the coach to coach because I ain't seen any kind of real coaching going on. So I'm sorry. I don't have that, I don't have that, light tell you guys are hoping for. Because this team look, fight, yeah, we could fight to the end. That good, a last minute equalizer here and there, but no.
But
After
I,
that, what we gonna do whole season.
but I got to ask you guys. This light going off. The hell?
Lights out, man.
I know, right? Yeah, I got to ask you guys a question with regards to what Simeon is saying. Wait, what the hell? Let me get a different light. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, we're doing it in the dark, just like Manchester United, until I set up this light. I got to ask you guys a question because we're playing one game a week, one game, guys, one game a week, and for some reason, I still can't figure out what this team trying to do with regards to Amarim. Maybe you guys can tell me. Maybe I'm missing something. But let me get this one comment from this Chelsea guy who has been a bit MIA. How is Garnacho? Let us know how Garnacho is doing, Kerry. But good night to you, and keep the comments coming, my guy. But yeah, we playing one game a week, guys. Tottenham had a Champions League game, so they would have been a bit tired, but the team resting up. The team resting up for a week, and yet we still can't find some. We still can't find some sort of groove in this team. What do you guys think about that? I'll start with you first, JP.
Yeah, I kind of found it strange because I actually saw a comment somewhere today talking about how when our team started to tire today and Amarim freshen it up, and I was thinking, but wait, we are the team that should have been fresher than Tottenham because we play last week and Tottenham had a game in the week. And then on top of that, usually if a team play Champions League, they would probably schedule a game for the Sunday. They had to play first thing Saturday morning. And somehow they were the team that found it in them in the second half to push and play more of the football. And we were looking at kind of, we continue to look disjointed. And that's my whole thing. I think for the whole game, we just look disjointed. And it's like, what are we doing with this week? What we using the week to do? What's so complicated that it taken so long for this team to understand what they're supposed to be doing? That's my question, because today we had 2 shots on target, and that was the 2 goals. And this Tottenham team not good earlier. 2 shots on target, and yeah, I just trying to figure out like what we doing in the week. What are we doing? Why are we not looking the fresher team? And one of the biggest things we have to look at, as soon as Casemiro on the field, it's falling apart and all. As soon as Casemiro come off that field, it's falling apart. It has been happening. And I don't know if I'm not realizing it, but I mean, we know Casemiro older and he had to manage minutes with the legs and thing in him, but that is a very frightening thing to see that.
But should Ugarte be able to take up the mantle on JP? And
well, this is what we were hoping. I thought in that position, if you let Ugarte focus on just cleaning up, because to me, when he was playing games last season, where he was just cleaning up, he was cleaning up well. So I don't know, maybe it's because he's not getting much minutes, because remember this is the next thing that are coming to, with the squad. Yeah, now with this Chesko injury, after Xerxes getting 10 minutes here and 2 minutes here, and not getting no games, so 2 games straight, no minutes, 2 games straight. Now we're thinking about, well, maybe Xerxes might have a step in the team. And that's if Amarim thinking so. But after not having all these minutes, we can expect him to hit the ground running. So it could be a case like that with Ugarte. Ugarte not getting much minutes either. And we just asking him to come in a game when Tottenham on the ascendancy. Same thing with the Forest game, when teams pushing at us is when we bring in these players who not getting enough minutes. So yes, it's one game a week, but my thing is you have a squad that you need to manage. And managing your squad is not keeping the 11 fresh. Managing your squad is being able to give everybody minutes so that everybody had a match sharpness. But I think Amrim falling into the same mold of Ten Hag, whereby they have their trusted core of players, and that's where they prefer to go to save the jobs. The trusted core of players. They're not afraid to venture outside of that, because if you even look at the bench now, you can even see the youths again. I think that Jack Fletcher, he was on the bench, right?
yeah, well, let me ask a question: is Amrim, when it comes to subs, kind of predictable now?
Kinda.
Extremely. Reem, I tell Reem, he not be a millionaire. Reem gets spot on for weeks now. He getting it 100% correct.
Because it's easy.
It's easy. You know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Chef, one game a week versus Spurs, who had a Champions League game. We should be the more fresh side, right, Chef? Or am I wrong?
No, it shouldn't. And to throw into that, Dan Spurs is friendly shit. Spurs not good. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I think it's almost at times like I think Amarin has been looking to buy problems. Like it ain't good enough that okay, the team slowly starting to get into a little bit, they're getting some wins. Oh come, don't overcomplicate the thing at all. And this you want to stick with the same players, and then as I always say, throwing them here and there. I find last season, Amarin substitutions was his timing of them was a little better. But this season it's been horrible, boy. Jesus.
Well, I mean, let's get into some of the performances today, right? Now, before we get into the performances, we have to acknowledge that Brian Mbeumo got the Player of the Month for October, and Ruben Amorim got the Manager of the Month for October. So, kudos to them.
Long time you see that from a Manchester player and manager.
Yeah, I think the last time was Rashford and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, maybe.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was way back in the day. Way back in the day. Yeah. In terms of the performances today, Cunha, I don't think touched the ball or barely touched the football today. Ahmad and Mbeumo, they did a job, but I think Ahmad still has, I don't want to say a long way to go, but there's some certain decisions that Ahmad can make better as well, right? As good as Casemiro is, and Casemiro did pretty good today. There's sometimes where the ball was going through the midfield, and he could catch up to other Tottenham players, right? But he still did a good job today. I'll let you guys chime in as well, because I think our two standout players today, and I think the score should have ended maybe 2-1, but rightfully deserved 2-2. De Ligt definitely was solid today, but De Ligt had me a bit disappointed when he let Tell turn on him today. That could have been fatigue, but you know what? He redeemed himself by scoring the equalizer, right? And then Brian Mbeumo definitely balled his best, right? So
Lamens.
Yeah,
Send it put off 2 good saves today that could have put Spurs up in the second half.
definitely laments.
Yeah, he definitely played well today, and he definitely has been one of the standout players, or standout signings for us, I should say, right? I was shouting at my TV for Benjamin Sesko, because there are 2 occasions where Benjamin Sesko could have at least tested the goalkeeper. Benjamin Sesko, you're not a giraffe, okay? What's his name? Troy Deeney has been saying that you are just a giraffe. You have Newcastle fans laughing at us, but there's something about Benjamin Sesko that does not give me the confidence that when he gets the football, he can do something with it, right? There's not like that Drogba-esque type of aggression. That's what I think coming from Sesko or whatever, right? But anyway, that's just me. I could be right, I could be wrong. You guys can have a different opinion than me, and that's why we're here to discuss this football.
Yeah,
I bet in mind say he trying to be too Berbatov.
But Berbatov was slow, but Berbatov used to, 1, come for the football deep, and 2, Berbatov had the physical strength to shield off guys, and the bit of aura and technique to dribble past men, right? But Berbatov knew his limitation when it came to speed, right?
And when he gets chances, he puts in a toe.
Correct. What are you saying, JP?
I think he need time. I think you see, and this is why whole transfer, like whole summer, I was hearing me say, bringing Matata. I wanted a Premier League proven striker because the Premier League is a different beast. If you look at the chances that Shesko get today, if he hit it one time, he could have tested the keeper, but he he not up to the speed of the Premier. So he wanna
No.
take touches. He try and take touches in places where he should not be trying to take touches because them defenders coming on here one time. It's a different league and he had to learn that. So when you sign a player like him, and this is what we did with Rasmus earlier. This is what we did with Rasmus. We signed a striker that wasn't ready for the Premier League yet. And we come and do the same thing with Sesko now. But the thing is, you have Zirks in the team that they could shield Sesko with. So yes, Zirks may not have 60 years Premier League experience, but he has more experience in the Premier League than Sesko right now. So my thing is using your squad wisely would be understanding that hey, this fella still have to grow into the league. By putting him in the firing line like this, what doing? Shooting his confidence down. Because after Sesko scored the goals back to back, the next game Amram drop him and play a false nine. So now what he had to do is to try and come and play catch up again. So it's be a psychological thing, and I think that's what going on with Sesko. He's so these fellas so want to score because that's what he here for. So I think really and truly is about a lot of our problems come down to managing the squad. And you have to understand that when you have a player like Sesko, you have to manage him properly into the Premier League. He's not Haaland. Haaland come from Germany and was scoring goals for fun. You're not all strikers can do that. Look at Gary Perez. All them 90, how much goals he scored in Sporting Lisbon. If he reach 20, if he reach 15 this season, he lucky. Because it's a different league. And he is more experienced. He's a more seasoned striker than Sesko.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying, right? This is why I wanted somebody like Mateta in that position, a cheaper option that is Premier League proven. But we went for the outside option in a position where we needed somebody with experience.
Before I get to Simeon, one thing I didn't mention, one thing you mentioned, JP, is that you need to give him time. Fair enough, right? But like I mentioned probably like 2 minutes ago, there's something about Sesko that is not convincing as yet, right? I think when Xerxes entered the league after all the criticism, there was something about Xerxes when it came to shielding off players and just dribbling past them that gave you a bit of, oh, let me sit forward in my seat to see what this guy can do, or give the ball to Xerxes. Hurry up and give the ball to Xerxes. I want to see what he can do, right? Me now, I'm not that person that's shouting at the TV, give the ball to Sesko, right? But we'll come back to that. What are your thoughts, Simeon? I could be wrong.
My issue with I mean, I mentioned about Sesko before was that when I saw him a year or two ago, I know he's a young player, but when I saw him a year or two ago, I mean, he wasn't much, I would say much, improvement. I know that different league, but yeah, I mean, I am worried about Sesko. I really am, because yes, there's some skill there. I mean, I'm compensating mine can't play, but the fine techniques, the space you need, and that's the biggest issue: space and time. You need to understand your space and time. Like, he doesn't understand that I can't push the ball, a feet away from me and catch up with it. Let's say in Germany, somebody's gonna be there and take the ball from you. and too many times, in the box, he thinks he has more time than he actually has. And at Manchester United, you don't have time. You don't have a lot of time at here. I know he got. I mean, how much we pay for Rasmus, and we send him back in, and then the other thing is he a good fit? So it's not even, you worry about the league, you worry about the team he's in. Is he a good fit for this team? His height not even really being utilized by us either. And then you look at, talk about Xerxes. How he hasn't really played, right? You would think to have Bumo and Cunha. I mean, you saw what he did last year without them. Imagine him with them this year. That kind of, I mean, it's a finishing need work, but I'm sure he could set them up some really good. I mean, that's a game like today was a perfect game for him to get some. But you just worry, about this team, and that's what I talk about team composition. We look at what does Amrim want from a striker. Like, he talk about pressing. He's like, "Oh, the reason we lost because we didn't stop pressing." I'm like, you have like you said, a giraffe out there. He man trying to run, but he man in have that kind of movement to be pressing in front like that. That's just not Sesko. Zirkzee probably tried. He had more experience doing it, But we ain't buy that kind of striker. You have Ugarte, who the coach acting like he don't want to play. Is Ugarte a fit for this system? I mean, this system. I mean, is Ugarte, is it because of Bruno that he doesn't know where he need to be? That's why he always look like he out of place. I mean, it's like I look at his team and it's like, if the system you're trying to implement, why you have all the wrong players playing all the wrong positions, and you're just trying to hoping that Cunha and Boomer could do something. I don't understand it.
Boy, let me get another comment. Kerry again is saying 2 assists, left Manchester United, became a footballer. Will take Kobe off your hands too.
Huh.
Interesting. You gotta tell us again, Kerry, the amount of times Garnacho has been hooked at halftime. You have to tell us.
You're watching today.
Yeah, I mean, like, Kerry probably only watched Garnacho for the first time today, and if you did, then by all means, good on you. You can only report or tell us what you have seen, right? But if you've seen Garnacho throughout the entire season, I don't think the same energy that you're using to type on your keyboard will be there as well, too, right? But that's just me, right?
I watched Garnacho today, and I couldn't believe it was the same play. He's Garnacho crosses and proper crosses too. I said, but Garnacho not to press.
You have a choice.
Dan,
It's only
what he crossed for the goal.
do what I want, and keep starting them every single game.
Yeah,
You think he could
the
do
play what
that in Chelsea?
the play what he crossed for the goal. I watch that play and I say, no, if that man was at Old Trafford, he would have tried to cut back and score for himself.
Exactly.
He was not going to make that pass. And it was so obvious.
Anyway, let me focus on our wingers today. Let me focus on Ahmad getting another assist for Mbeumo and Mbeumo scoring again, boy. I hate to be this guy, but when African Cup of Nations come wrong, boy, I don't know how we're gonna replace those two, boy. But let's I think African Cup of Nations for those guys, I think starts middle of December. No, middle of December. That's what I saw. Which is quite interesting, right? Anyway, another goal for Mbeumo, another assist for Ahmad. Talk to me about Mbeumo, guys. Actually, let's do this. Let's talk to me about Mbeumo talk to me about Casemiro, and then talk to me about Sens Lamens. I think Casemiro was under some stick from last season, and he's definitely showing the old Casemiro of like Real Madrid days. And Buemo is Embuemo. As I mentioned in the previous pod, we took 55 days to sign him, but lo and behold, he's just popping up. And then San Laments. Yeah, those three. What do you think about those three guys' performance today? I'll start with you, Chef.
As I rightfully say, as JP said, sure, there's a reason we went after him, Bremen. You know what you're gonna look at. Well, I remember JP saying, but it was I and JP was so I don't want to stray too much, but we our point was sign somebody who in the league, sign a proven striker in the league. Dan, the thing with Mateta, why I wanted Mateta to is as you say, Phil, that striker role in Manchester is like a graveyard. But the thing with Mateta is he don't need plenty chances. You feel he doesn't get a whole lot of chances by Palace? No, he doesn't get a whole lot of chances. But he does make his goals. And you need, and the way this team is built, you need a striker like that. So anyhow, back to Edinburgh. The man is a boss. And the man, and you saw it. You saw from the start of the season when he was in full fitness to now, that man not wrong. So credit to him. That was the man is a boss. Lamens, dog. Listen, watching Lamens and thinking what we had to endure for the last 2 years under the Chittong Monana. Then when you think about them, things just get mad, you know. And yes, he does make good saves, but the man does the basic, proper. Don't play wrong in your box. When the ball in the air as the goalkeeper, command your box, command the air, make your saves. Dog, let me be real. Out of the goals he has conceded so far, can we really sit here and say, hey, he should have do better on that? Maybe one? So yeah. Casimiro, Casimiro is having a decent season, I will say. Today, it also showed Mickey Van der Ven, who loves to take that ball and run straight down the center of anybody. He had to respect Casimiro with that nonsense today. He couldn't do it. So, credit to Casimiro. But as all you're rightfully say, it can't be that we can't be relying on one of the oldest players on the team every game. And if he come off his old man's, nah. And when we signed Ugarte, here was my worry about that player. Ugate's position is a diamond position now in any team. Every team wants at proper defensive midfield. So if top clubs willing to sell you, there's a alarm bell to me. Yeah.
JP. One thing Chef pointed out was San Lamez is doing the basics. One. And two, imagine what we as Manchester United fans had to tolerate and watch and wake up in the morning when we see Andre Onana on the team sheet. Talk to me about that, and then we can later talk about how Casemiro is performing, and then back to Brian and Bramo.
Yeah, I mean, that's just he's a better fresh air boy. He have a composure about him that they could see brings a calm to his defenders. Like they know they could trust him. The saves he made today, it wasn't anything spectacular, but the way he did it And when when I see him push the ball away from the goal for one of the saves, I was like, thanks. Thanks so much, because Unana was parrying that right back onto a Tottenham player for them to just tap it in. So it's just a composure that he brings. And as far as I heard Rio Ferdinand talk, he say he spoke to Courtois about him. And Courtois speaks very highly of him because there's great expectation around him as a goalkeeper. And you could see why. And you could actually see some of the qualities of Courtois in him too.
Yep.
So I honestly think that once he continues along this trajectory, we should have a goalkeeper for quite a long time, because goalkeepers last long in the game too. And that was very well for us in terms of that position. Could be sorted for a long time. Casemiro, really and truly is where the man put in the work. He slimmed down, he worked on his fitness, and one thing you can't take away from these players is the reading of the game. And you're seeing that with him. He reading the game well. And it's just unfortunate that he can't last in 90, because we really need him for that 90 minutes. Because the midfield just falling apart without him. He is the glue that keeping things together in our midfield right now. Because it's allowing Bruno to do what he wants to do in a sense by going forward. But once you got to come on, that not happening. It's not happening. So I really think that January there's a position that we have to look at strengthening. That center defensive mid and left wing back is two positions I think we have to look at strengthening in January. I think it's like a needs be kind of thing in January, as opposed to a luxury signing. And Mbumo, we had a right to check for 40, 45 million and send to Brentford, because like robbery, that man is 100 million plus player. Trust me. The way price tags getting thrown about for certain players who only do it for one season and thing. And we get this man who has been consistent for the last 3 to 4 seasons for less than 100 million a year. There's a steal. And I see in commentators saying Xhaka is the sign of the season in Premier League. Yeah, he's a close second to Mbumo, because I think he is the sign of the season.
No, they're saying that Granit Xhaka. No, don't get me wrong. Granit Xhaka is doing wonders in that midfield as a leader and as a leader and as a midfielder for Sunderland, right? And kudos to them for fighting back. What a goal! Oh my gosh, for that equalizer. My God. Anyway, actually, if you guys want to watch highlights from other teams this weekend, see the equalizer from Brian Brobby, who scored to make it 2-2 versus Arsenal. And then we get a chance as well to watch the Luis Diaz goal for Bayern Munich. Yeah, boy. Anyway, boy, oh boy, what a goal. Simeon and Buemo, Casemiro, rolling back the days, and then send Lamens. I want JP to think about a question before I get back to you, because you did say that with regards to the January transfer window, there may be the ability to shop for a defensive midfielder to replace Ugarte. So think about what name or names come to mind that we could sell Ugarte and maybe bring in somebody new, or there's somebody on the current Manchester United roster or in the academy that you would like to see maybe get a chance at that Ugarte position. But think about that. Simeon and Buemo, Casemiro rolling back the days, send Lamens. But before you answer, Simeon, one thing that was pointed out today is that Sen Lamens is the one keeper after the Wolves keeper who kicks the ball long and direct. There's no build-up play when it comes to Sen Lamens, right? And I want to say rightfully so, because the guys are in a position for some reason to be collecting the ball, or he doesn't feel like the guys around him can handle the pressure. But other than that, man, I don't think Sans Lamens has put a foot wrong this season.
Yeah, I mean, just good, clean, goalkeeping. I mean, it's nothing too exciting, but it's just a clean, you know, um, technical goalkeeping. And a lot of those saves that he had, where he's just where he was supposed to be, with a firm hand or a firm foot. A lot of stuff. I watch him play. I don't see any great athleticism. I see really good technique. How he gets across. His the sticks. I mean, I just think that he's definitely I mean, well coached. Goalkeeper. Like some people, you could tell. From a young age, they were sure how to do things the right way, and they kept doing it. He looked like a really good, well coached goalkeeper. You don't get that kind of excitability when even when make a save, yeah, he's happy and stuff, but you don't feel like, oh, look at me, I made that save. He's like, yeah, well, I did X, Y, and Z, and that's what it's supposed to be. I think a lot of the shots he takes, he's just well positioned, and his technique is so clean. And I think, when you compare it to what we saw last few seasons, it really is kind of sad because you're looking at every game, with Onana. I mean, the things that Onana should have saved easily just by following clean technique. A lot of goals that were scored, like big goals and big games that went past that really should not have ever, been an issue to a decent goalkeeper. I mean, it's almost criminal that he was there for so long. So I mean, I think he's the perfect keeper for now. Just stable goalkeeper for now. I mean, I'm gonna put him in the hair category, or the Schmeichel, but I think he has a safe pair of gloves back there. I think that's what we need right now. I look at Casemiro, and I think I always liked. I never trusted his legs, so much. You know, ever since the middle of his first year, but I definitely trust his reading, like I said, the reading of the game. I think in a system like this, playing with Bruno as well, it helps that they both speak Portuguese. I think the understanding in the midfield of what's going on, is key to our team. It worries me that only he seems to understand, where everyone's gonna be, or when Bruno goes off, where to be. So I mean, he's his knowledge of the game, I think, is really what is showing. And I think his body can actually do what his mind is telling it to do this season. And Bumo, well, I don't need to say any more about Mbumo. I mean, that's the player. That's the player of the season so far. I mean, the man. I think from the time he put on that is it Brighton. From the time he scored a goal, kind of sit everybody down. I think the way he finished that goal really showed the kind of class he has. So I'm happy with Mbumo. I just need it not just to be, Mbumo, and a few helpers now and then. I think the coach really has to find a way to help them fellas, because as good as he, Cunha has been, a lot of times with good enough teams that they're struggling to find, enough chances. And even when, ball gets to Sesko or somebody else, we can't get. So the weight of scoring is definitely on their shoulders.
Yeah. Well, good analysis from you three guys. Kristen, boy, welcome to the show, man.
Good night, good night.
You're better late than never, right? So,
Yeah.
how you doing, and what were your thoughts on the game today?
2 points drop. I mean, we could take the draw after the circumstances, how it ended, but it's 2 points drop.
I think most of us agree on that. Any standout players from your perspective, or any players that you don't want to see start the next game?
Well, Mbumo is always the standout. I mean, he just so direct and so simple. Every pass he make is the proper pass, the dribble. Sometimes I get frustrated with Cunha, which is he just over dribble, over hold the ball. And I think 2 times when he lost the ball, they score and it was offside. And the next time is when Maguire stretched over Richarlison, and that's how he ended up pulling his hamstring. And it had men open, and he tried to beat the man in front of him, and something that frustrates me. But other than that, I don't like how we just score and then sit back, but I guess the manager doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, or we share the same sentiment of the manager knows what he's doing, right? But I mean, it's become kind of predictable as to how the manager is going to set up one, and two, the substitutes he's going to make. But let me get back to JP, because if Ugarte were to leave or go on loan in the summer, is there somebody that you have in mind that can fill that position?
You know, I think the two names that standing out the most right now because I believe our stock kind of dropping, and there's a concern where a little distraction train up your game so bad. Unless he kind of turn it around. He was the player that I was looking at before, but two players, Wharton and Anderson, are the two players I think that's kind of showing themselves in the league right now, midfielder wise. Who we could probably look at to bring into the team.
Now, those are you saying that they could come in January, or they are more than likely summer 2026 signings?
It's probably summer signings, but I mean, I feel like we could try and entice based on where Nottingham might be in the table. You could try and entice Anderson in January. Wharton less
I
so
see that.
because Palace is
I
Palace is
think
a decent squad right
they're pushing it for him in January in the winter window because they know in the summer it will be more competition.
yeah.
So they're trying to acquire him in the winter.
Yeah.
Now, this Elliot Anderson that you guys are talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Now, what position would he more than likely come into play? One, and two, how does that look if we, for example, send Kobe Manu on loan, but we bring in Elliot Anderson?
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
I want Kobe to get minutes. I want Kobe to be playing football. And if that means he had to go on loan, I'm taking that because he's another player. Obviously, I think not being treated well. And why I don't want to go off too much on Kobe now because that's not what we talking about, right? But just as you bring up his name, when the manager's saying things like we played one game a week and he really want to give Kobe a chance, but it hard to give Kobe a chance because of who he had to drop and whatever. That's real bullshit because today you see how he changed it around to give other players a chance. And you see how he give Mount time to get a chance. So it's very frustrating when you have players like that, especially in games when I know Kobe wasn't available today, but there have been games where we crying out for players who good on the ball to be on the field, and he not playing it. So Amrim like runners. He like runners. He like players who just run hard and run hard whole game. The more technically gifted players, he seems to have some kind of aversion to them, and he don't really care for the more technically gifted players like Kobe and Zipsy, who naturally gifted. You see, players like Ahmad have both qualities. They have that doggedness in them, but they have the quality at the same time. So to go back to the original thing, Anderson, I hate the idea of Kobe having to leave, but if it's for him to get minutes, then I'm fine with it. And Anderson, I think, would be in more in a Casemiro position. But it still depends on if he can play with Bruno, because remember, Casemiro experience is really and truly what allowing Bruno to do what he could do in the games. Where Anderson plays, he has midfielders that would stay closer to him. Where Wharton plays, he has midfielders that will stay closer to him. But Bruno is given the freedom to roam more in this team. Casemiro experience is what is allowing Bruno to be able to do that in certain teams. Can another midfielder come in and do the same thing? That is the question.
Interesting. Let me bring out another topic, because we're looking to wrap up soon, right? I can see if I can get this onto the screen here. Let me see here now. All right, these are our next 5 fixtures, right? Let me see.
Right.
Sorry?
Yeah, I was not saying it was blocking it.
Yeah. So our last 5 fixtures, our next 5 games. What am I talking about? Our next 5 games are the following: Everton at home, Crystal Palace away, West Ham at home, Wolves away, and then Bournemouth. I would like to ask you guys, how many points do you think we can get from these 5 games? Me personally, I would like to see 18 points, but we know the team that we know the team that we support. So
8.
15.
Sorry, 3, 6,
15
9,
points.
15. Why are you saying 18 points? I
15 points.
I'm taking ahead of myself. So these next 5 games, is it a possibility to get 18 points, or how many points do you think we'll get from these next 5 games?
We're supposed to get 15 points. Suppose.
But how many points do you think we'll get, Kristen?
About 10.
About 10, 11.
9 or 10.
I think personally, if I had to be realistic, let me bring them back up. I think we could win against Everton, West Ham, and Bournemouth at home. I think so. So that's 9 points there. Wolves away, maybe we could get another 2-2 draw, but I think it's the Crystal Palace away game that I am a bit skeptical about. Right? So if I had to be honest with myself, let me say 3, 6, 9. That's home games. That's 9 points. Wolves away, that's 10. And Crystal Palace away might be a bit sketchy. So you guys could be right onto something. 10 points from these next 5 games.
Yeah. But one thing I like about the team right now is the resilience to get back a goal when we go underneath. Because the last season we conceded them 2 goals and we'd have lost to Tottenham today. Against Nottingham we'd have lost 2-1. To come back and score and still salvage a point is good. Because
I feel like last season as a benchmark is I've seen a lot of people saying that, and I understand why they're saying it about last season we would have lost these games, but last season we finished what 14th, 15th. So to even use
Yeah, 15th, yeah.
last season as a benchmark, that we are still Manchester United, right? And we're not a 14, 15 place club. Yes, we finished there last season. So to be making comparisons to comfort ourselves when we come from winning positions to go to losing positions to then draw a game, I kinda not buying into that and all. I sorry, like
Nope.
I may be something negative saying it, but I hear a lot of people saying we would have lose this game last season. But the point is, the last 2 games we were actually
Mediocrity.
winning. Yes,
nope,
mediocrity, and we were
but
winning. We
but
were winning the
that the
game.
reality I know, eh? The reality
Nobody
is
real,
we
the
is not
reality.
a top team.
Nobody reality is, Christian, you're winning a game. We lapsed for 5 minutes in one game, and it went down against Nottingham first, right? And we had to fight and claw back into the game. Tottenham team not good this season. They're not good. So this a game now we should have punished them. And the tactics to me is what we get wrong from the start, because Sesko would actually have space to run into from the first half in this game. I was watching it and thinking, but there's a game
Agreed.
where one is striker, there's a game where one is striker who is running behind. But we don't have him there. And balls will go in the box where a striker would be making a run, but we don't have a striker in the team. That was happening in the first half. So tactically we got it wrong, and that's why we didn't score more goals, because we only had 2 shots on target against a terrible Tottenham team. This Tottenham team not good. So that's why I am not comforted by the fact that last season we would have lose this game. Because the game I watched today is a game we should have won. Plain and
Yeah,
simple.
but the thing is we only strengthen in attack. It's the same defense, the same midfield. So is we can only outscore the other team. That's how we're trying to win. If you think about it. The
Or
only
we
way
could play or we could play football in a different way where we're not just letting team run through us when at certain points in the games.
But
That could work too.
no, that can't
Just
work
saying.
because that's not what we trying to do. We watch it. I go back to the beginning of the year. We watch, the people who put this team together, watch that team and say, you know what, we can put Bruno in the middle of there and they'll be all right because Cunha and then Bumo and Sesko go score the goals. Now, when Cunha and Bumo and Sesko can't score the goals and the ball go the other way, that's why we have an issue. I mean, I look at half our team is defenders. I don't know what kind of team composition that is, but
And we
half our
still
team is
conceding
defenders.
goals. And we
You
still
know,
conceding goals.
but if you have a midfield that that tear defenders left, right, and center, I think at the end of the day, this team is constructed so terribly, and then the coaching ain't much better unless we score goals, which we can't do because this system. You look at the system we're running. The best movement I see on from a left wing back or a left wing back position was Maguire. Maguire to
Maguire.
man drag today.
Yeah.
And I say, hey,
Yes.
look at that. And I say, hey, that's Maguire.
And
And I
put some good
realized,
ball in the box.
Doku, you get moments, but the positions that for Amram system to really work, you need those wing backs performing. Ahmad doing a thing on the right side. We don't have that. That's why Cunha and Boomer have to do all kind of madness to, for us to do well. And like his system isn't helping them win really too much. We scored two, a banger from Ahmad last week, and then a corner. But I feel like we didn't get much help from the system. And we built to score goals. I mean, that's scoring goals. in an efficient manner. It's all kind of, you know, at the end of the game, he's struggling to have McGuire up there, and people do all kind of madness. I feel like this team ain't built well, and they ain't coached well. You know, we just have players going back to how he was. You know, we're kind of going back to the way we were before, which, you know, I'm worried about.
No, but, it had a play today as well. Where Bruno make the run into the middle, right? And Bruno was calling for it. And Dogu could not make the pass, right? And in the second half,
Yeah.
when Ahmad had it, Bruno get the pass. He threw away, but he get the pass. And that's the difference in the quality we have right now. You know Ahmad and them, we're going to get to Ahmad, but Dogu and him can't get that from them.
Yeah,
That
and
was-
that's why I mentioned. I think we're gonna be looking at a left wing back in January too.
But we know Saint Dorgo and Diego Leon, boy, and we're still looking for a left wing back, boy. Jeez, boy.
I still a Harry Ahmad and all.
And Malasia still there too.
And
All kind of
Tenag
left-
said,
all kind of
Tenag
left back.
said on Benfica.
Wait,
Tenag said
Sanchez?
on Benfica, and he got Real Madrid now.
We gotta sell some players. We gotta sell some of them.
Bad team composition, man. Bad team composition.
Yeah.
Boy, we still so we need a left back. We need some sort of engine, some person in the engine room, another defensive mid.
We need. That's my thing. Is we can't buy one. We have to buy two, at least two. And we said that last year. Can't buy one. We get none. So what kind of wickedness was that? I mean, what kind of wickedness that falls on? But
Crowdy Meister, thanks for joining us. Saying getting fed up of chucking away leagues in the second half. We need a buffer before losing key players to AFCON. I think that is what we touched on earlier in the pod. Well, let me get you guys' opinion on this here before we wrap up the pod. Let's fast forward to when we're gonna lose the likes of Embuemo, Ahmad, Mazrari. Who slots in to their players, or who would you like to see? Because let's be real, this guy is probably gonna play a mount in that position.
No, but I think they're trying to get Mbemo. He say he leaving it up to them to decide, because they say he could play the December games and he will leave in January, because you know it's starting in December. The 24th is the first game or something like that. But they're trying for him to get to play the December games with Manu, and then he will get to leave. So
Yeah, but he's still gonna be leaving.
yeah.
So we still have to find somebody.
Exactly.
Now, hopefully, when I do we a favor and he will just miss one game.
No.
Them was
No.
benching on Anna when they're ready to win. You feel them should it when Anna was getting benched for them too.
Yep.
Yeah. But you know, back to the original question where Embuemo and also Ahmad and Mazrari are going to be off to AFCON. Who or which players would you like to see in their respective positions? I'll start with Chef.
Phil.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Phil. You're effing up this Saturday night. Because here's what. We could say who we would like, but we know who go in there.
Well, it's just for conversation, and you are right. You are right. We know the guy gonna play a mount, but let's say Ruben Amorim is watching this podcast and the man listens to one of us, hypothetically. Who would you want in those positions, Chef?
All right. Who we starting with? Mount? I'm sorry, Mbemo?
Yeah, Mbemo, right-sided or left-sided, anytime.
The whole right side going basically.
Yeah.
You gotta pick a right back and a right wing.
I know you're going to say Ahmad, and I forget Ahmad going through.
Listen, all this match here doing Chef, you know we don't have our choices. Only Dalo we could play there. You tell nobody else.
No. I done. My mind done wrap around that it could be Dalo is actually the number 10 position right side is.
The 10 is the only position we could think about today because we don't know
That's the
right
only
wing back
position I'm
we done.
thinking about, to be
So
honest.
why not Xerxes?
Yeah, gotta be Xerxes. Yeah, Xerxes.
We know it's not gonna be Xerxes, huh? That's
He might push Bruno there and play Kobe in the middle.
Hold on.
Nah, Kobe
Hold
gone.
on,
He's
hold on,
Kobe gone. He's in the winter transfer window, my guy.
You feel so?
Yeah.
Nah, Everton have opportunity for him to
in the
play.
World Cup year, Chef. The man want minutes in the World Cup year for your team. Of course, he man gone in the January transfer window, boy.
Yo,
You block Kobe's transfer in the summer because the man wanted to get minutes, and you promised the guy play. How many times can you count on one hand? Has the man started for Manchester? If I'm Kobe's agent, I am pushing for a loan in January. You're not blocking it. You're not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can't even. And as a England supporter too, it's disappointing if Kobe may not make that team.
No, but I am telling you, he don't like Xerxes. Xerxes is the player who go on loan or get sell, and Kobe go remain. I'm telling you that is what's going to happen.
I don't get me not liking Xerxes. Xerxes was arguably probably your best player last season.
Exactly.
So how we move from him being one of the first players to fit into his system and actually having a decent season to this season he don't like Xerxes.
Yeah.
No, it had to be you don't like him because he again no game might have opportunities where you can see the man could get come on or start or something and he not, so it had to be he don't like him.
Because
The man don't like the man does not like technical players in terms of technical players who don't want who are not runners as well too, right? Because you can see in Amada and Buemo, those guys are runners. You can see in Cunha, he's a runner and also a technical player as well too, right? But Xerxes, I don't see. Obviously, Xerxes doesn't have those same energy levels as like your Buemo and Cunha and Amad, but at least the guy can give you something on the pitch versus like Sesko, in my opinion, right? But if it was up to me, I would put Kobe as Xerxes in the 10, and either Cunha or Sesko up top, and leave the midfield the same, right? But I personally think that Kobe Manu should definitely go on loan. That's just me, right? But and I think as you guys agreed on two things, we would like to see Xerxes in the 10, but we know Amorim gonna play Mount, right? So yeah. Well, it was just worth a conversation starter, right? But anyway, fellas, another bore 2-2 away draw. It is what it is. And we move on to who's our next game again?
Everton.
It is Everton. Everton got a 3-2 win today. I think so. Yeah, Everton got a win today. So they are high on confidence, but I think we have the tools to beat Everton at least a 1 or 2 love, right? Before we end the pod, final predictions for the Everton game. I'll start with you, Chef, and then we'll go around the table.
Where we playing at all?
Playing at home, yeah.
3-1 Manchester.
I would take that. JP.
Chef, read my mind. Same thing I was thinking. 3-1.
Simeon?
I do. Let's see. I think a 3-3.
3-3, boy. I mean, I would be really pissed if we had a 3-3 draw at home.
With shitty Everton.
Y'all have to Everton equal. we not great a team to begin with. Y'all have to Everton built like a team. They built, sturdy. We built like
Everton have a decent team.
Nah, but
in some form now.
I find the Prem this season, all the teams playing. You can't say this side going to lose and they're losing.
Except Manchester United.
But
but I agree. This season it's very competitive.
Yeah, we are competitive.
I would that game with Arsenal Sunderland today. I go to take off my stream and then I see this man score. I was like, Premier League really entertaining, yeah?
Mhm.
Yep.
What's your prediction for the Everton game, Kristen?
I'll say 2-0.
2-0, clean sheet. All right, well, guys, end of the pod. Once again, thank you for joining me on reviewing this Spurs and Manchester United game. Final score was 2-2. And, Kristen, Simeon, JP, and Chef, we are all out.